Hi, and welcome to Yoga a Go Go. My name is Francesca, and I'm a yoga teacher. This podcast is dedicated to all the yoga passionate, but also to the yoga curious, who still maybe haven't tried yoga yet. I'm sharing my ideas, my thoughts, and experiences in the yoga world with you so that I can make this beautiful practice more accessible for all of you. Hello everyone, and welcome to this very first episode of Yoga a Go Go, a podcast dedicated to all the yoga passionate but also to the yoga curious, so all the people interested in yoga that maybe haven't tried yoga yet, or that they are very interested and they maybe just want to know more about yoga. My name is Francesca and I'm your host for today. I'm a yoga teacher based in Berlin. I'm originally from Italy, from Venice, actually from the mainland of Venice, so the ugly part of Venice. And I moved here in Berlin in 2020 to teach full time, so right before the pandemic, and I teach here in 3 different studios in the city. I'm actually right now I'm recovering from a surgery, so I'm taking some time off teaching to just recover and to heal my body. So I decided what best time to start one of my project that I had on hold, which is this podcast. And so welcome everyone. And this episode is dedicated to all of you that still didn't figure out just yet what style of yoga they like. I would say maybe it's more for the people that want to have an idea of the different styles of yoga and what to choose. But also for those of you that already started yoga and maybe they don't know that there are other styles of yoga. I imagine some of you already know that there are many different styles of yoga, but for example, I didn't know that there were so many styles. I had a very confused idea of what yoga was and also what the other styles of yoga were. And that's why I think it's a nice idea to have an episode that lists the major yoga styles. Of course, I'll try to be as short as possible, so I won't list all the yoga styles because otherwise it will be a very long episode. So hopefully I don't make anybody angry because I don't list your favorite yoga style. But this is just to give a broad idea of what the yoga world has to offer. So I thought to share a little bit of my yoga journey with you to guide you through the many different styles, the one that I tried during the years. And I'll start with my very first class in 2013 or 14 was a Bikram class. And for those of you who don't know Bikram, Bikram is a Hatha class, so very traditional yoga. We will go more into details of what Hatha yoga is in a while, and is 26 postures and 2 breathing exercise, a set sequence, always the same one, in a heated room at 40 degrees. And I will suggest Bikram yoga to all those people that are really up for a challenge. So, for example, I love challenges. I'm a very, very stubborn person, and this was literally the perfect recipe for success, for making me fall in love with yoga, and also is hiding behind all this craziness, I would say, because you're in a heated room, you're sweating like hell inside there, is hiding the spirituality side of yoga very, very well. So if you are like me, a person that is a little skeptical, and especially I was at the beginning, and you don't want to have so much to do with the spiritual side of yoga, Bikram yoga is a class for you, because it's very, very physical, and you won't chant in there, you won't say you basically have just a very physical practice. Behind that, there is a lot going on. Of course, behind the curtains, there is always a lot going on, but at the first glance is just a very strong physical practice. So long after I did my first yoga class, I tried vinyasa. I tried a warm vinyasa class, so still in the heat but not as hot as a hot class. So it was around 34 degrees. And a vinyasa class is a more dynamic type of yoga. So you flow from one posture to the other, while in Hatha yoga, you actually go into the posture, hold the pose for a set period of time, and then come out of the pose exactly the reverse way you got in, and then you go into another position. In Vinyasa, you flow from one pose to the other and to the next one, and so on and so on. So you're kind of dancing from one posture to the other. The difference is that, of course, every class is different. While in Bikram, you have a set sequence, and that means that after, for example, a couple of classes, you kind of start to know what is coming next. In Vinyasa, you don't really know, and it's really on the creativities of the teacher, what is coming that day. So every time can be different, every class is different, every teacher has a different style and has different influences. So it's very, very challenging for those of us, for example, that are very comfortable with routine. So I will suggest Vinyasa to all the people that are really, really easy to get bored. And yeah, I don't get bored very easily, I will say. I love routine, I love my habits. So I love also Vinyasa now, but at the time, it took me more time to fall in love with Vinyasa than what it took me with Bikram, for example. And after Vinyasa, I opened the door for other styles to come in. I wanted to try more, and I tried a Yin yoga class. And Yin yoga is a practice where you hold the poses for a very long period of time, and most of the poses are on the floor, so you're actually not putting strength into the posture, you're actually using gravity to hold the posture, and so you're sinking into the poses, let's say. And it's a very inward practice, so you can hold the poses for a period of time that goes from 2 minutes to even 7 minutes, and it's very, very intense, especially for those of us that are not very flexible, but also for the very flexible people. I believe it's a very intense practice because you are pretty much left alone with your own thoughts and with a lot of discomfort. So I know in this podcast it all sounds like I'm telling you don't do yoga, basically, because everything sounds really, really bad. But my very first approach with Yin was really, really bad because I didn't like it, but I went back to it. Even though I didn't like it while I was doing it, I shortly realized right after the class that something major has happened in my body. So I went back to it. Like, discomfort doesn't necessarily mean bad. Doesn't necessarily mean, okay, let's not do this again. Like, discomfort is pretty much in everyday life, and it doesn't stop us most of the time from doing anything. Sometimes it does, but we shouldn't allow that to happen. And yin yoga was a very, very intense for me, but I now really love yin yoga. And I really suggested for everyone, pretty much. I don't think there is not one person that shouldn't do yin yoga, because it's suitable for all the body types. For injuries specifically, you can prop yourself in different ways, and you can adjust your practice very easily to your needs, and it's very healing as well. So even though it might not be for all the personality, because it definitely wasn't for my personality, I adjust my personality to the practice, it definitely is for everybody, because it's a pretty easy practice, I would say, to do. Like, there is nothing challenging in the advanced posture. Like, there are no advanced posture. It's not that you need to put yourself into a pretzel to be able to do yin yoga. There is not something that you can do wrong. So in that sense, it's easy. In the other sense, it's challenging, because it requires you to be patient, to stay with your discomfort for a long time. So that can be a little bit, too much. But I really suggest it to everyone, basically. These three are for sure my favorite physical yoga practices. So the practice of asanas, and they are my way to go for that. While I need to say, I unfortunately don't like very much seated meditation. Sadly, that doesn't mean that I will never like it in my life, but right now it just doesn't work for me. It's hard to explain, but that's exactly why I decided to do this episode, is to say that it's okay that something doesn't resonate with us, and still it might not resonate today, but not necessarily for the rest of our lives. So I will definitely give it another try, probably now, in this time that I need to recover. I think meditation will be a great tool for myself, for my yoga practice, to go back to myself and to take some time for myself. So I will definitely give it another try. I will keep you posted. But until now, I need to be honest with you, I didn't like it that much. I really love, for example, Yoga Nidra, which is very different. It's not a meditation. In Yoga Nidra, we actually put the body completely asleep while the mind is still awake. So I don't want to say it's a hypnosis, but it's a little bit closer to that than a meditation where you're actually there and with your body, with your head. It's a sort of daydreaming, let's say. You need to try it. I'm a big fan of Yoga Nidra. There is so much Yoga Nidra out there in the internet, so if you have never tried it, give it a try, maybe 20 minutes, and on Spotify, on YouTube, you'll find something. I promise you, it's there. And you just need to find a voice that you like and try it on. If you fall asleep, it will be fine. It will work anyway. And believe me, it's an experience. It really, really helps me. For example, when I have trouble sleeping. So I really suggest it for those of you that have insomnia. I'm actually working on a course where I will also introduce Yoga Nidra, and a course specifically made for those of you that have trouble sleeping. And it also helps me a lot with managing pain. So, for example, during my time at the hospital, I used Yoga Nidra to feel better, to actually calm my nervous system and to release some of that pain. And it really helps me to do that, for example. So really, really suggested to everybody, and especially for pain reliefs and for insomnia. Going back to the physical yoga practice, another practice that I really love is restorative yoga, to not be mistaken with yin yoga. As for restorative yoga, the body is well supported from the ground with bolster, blankets, and blocks, and is comforted by all these props, so that gravity doesn't really have an impact on the body, and is a practice that is particularly suitable for people with extreme pain, injuries, chronic illness, stress, all the people that are going through a phase in their life that it's very challenging. It's a lovely practice to support your nervous system, to support your body, to feel comfort and cuddle. And yeah, I just love it. I really enjoy it. It's a practice that I can go to, for example, right now, in this moment of my life where I'm basically impaired to do any yoga practice. This is the only yoga practice, like physical yoga practice, that I could go to. So really, really suggested. Another style that I would like to give another chance to is Kundalini yoga, that I tried many years ago in a yoga festival in Copenhagen, and it was a very intense for me. I was in this huge festival with a lot of people, and it was a very emotional practice. Then I tried it again in an online course, and it triggered my anger, and yeah, I was just not ready for this, basically. Yeah, Kundalini can be very intense, specifically because it can trigger very strong emotion. It works on breathing exercises, it works on the chakras. It's also a lot more spiritual than other practice that I'm used to. And yeah, I will be not the best person to describe Kundalini to you, because, as I said, I don't actively practice Kundalini. So if you are interested to know more about it, go ahead, look online and search for Kundalini and to understand more about what it is. And honestly, if I should suggest Kundalini to a group of people, coming from a person that doesn't practice Kundalini, so attention, I will probably recommend it to those of you that want to go deep into the yoga practice, that really want to know more and not just working on the physical practice of yoga, and want to know more about the spiritual side, about chanting, about pranayama, about the chakras. And yeah, so very open-minded, and it's suitable for beginners as well. So you can go ahead and start with Kundalini for sure. And if you do so, please let me know how it goes. I'm really interested. And come in the comments and maybe motivate me to try it again, because I would love to do that. While for the styles I never tried, Iyengar yoga is one of them. So I won't say much about Iyengar just because I never tried it myself. I've never physically took a class, and it will just be wrong for my side to tell you, is this and this and this, and then I don't know anything about it. What I know is that is a practice that put a lot of attention on details, on alignment, and that you use props more than in other classes, for example, to go into the postures and to hold the postures. So this is what I know, and I wouldn't know to who suggested, probably to people that are interested in the alignment side of yoga, and they want to be guided, very, very guided. For example, in Vinyasa, you might find more freedom in your movement, and you can find your own way to movements, while in this class, I assume the freedom is a little bit more limited to the structure of the alignment. So that's the only thing that I can assume. All these styles that I didn't try is just for the lack of opportunity or for laziness, I will say. I have nothing against any style of yoga. Some, as I said before, are more in line with my personality. I resonate more with what they have to teach at this specific moment in life, and some others, they don't right now. But yeah, I don't think there is a better practice than another. There is nothing that I would say, this is the way to go. So to go back to the very beginning, how to choose your yoga style is to try. So all this to say, there is no yoga for all. There is no one class fits all. You need to try, and don't give up if the very first time doesn't work for you. For example, I see many times also in my classes, specifically in Bikram, people really struggling the first time and say, oh no, I will never come back again. I didn't like it, and so no. Don't, never say never. Always give another chance to the styles, and also to the classes that maybe really triggered you, and also to the classes that maybe didn't do anything to you. So this is my suggestion to all of you. Try all the styles if you can. And if one style specifically resonates more with you, try not to stick with it forever like I did. Try to force yourself a little to try something new every now and then, because it's just amazing the possibilities that you have in this field are so many, and you might be surprised. You might find something that you like even more than the very first one that you really, really love it. So yeah, try everything and let me know which one is your favorite style. For today, this is all for this very first episode of Yoga a Go Go. Let me know in the comments if this episode was helpful, and I'll be back in 1 month with another episode. In the meantime, you can follow me on Instagram at Francesca_Carosino, where you can find all my upcoming events in Berlin and online. and I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. Ciao.